Hey, we're live.
Okay, good morning, everyone. Today is July 31st, and this is the Northborough Design Review Committee. This meeting is being held remotely. We have Lisa Maselli on the Zoom, and Mark and I are here in person, and so welcome. And we want to welcome Abby. She is new to the planning department. And first on our agenda today, we have 13 Church Street. Welcome. Who will be presenting for the
I'll
meeting?
start.
Okay.
Yeah, they can see, okay. I'm Dario DeMar, with Hamley Wharf, the architect of record. And thank you all for coming here. I just want to start off right out of the chute. We actually were going to postpone this meeting because we don't have all the requirements. So if you're looking for a couple things, nothing huge. We don't have everything here, but Lori said, hey, you have enough where at least we can critique the important things. So we're gonna present what we do have, with the understanding, and I apologize that we don't have everything complete. But I want that, kind of known for the record. There are little subtleties that we left out, pictures of the adjacent properties, which, are gas stations and repair shops, but we have a lot of that now, but it wasn't submitted in time. So I'm gonna start off apologizing and then we'll move forward. So and John, if you wanna do whatever we want, that's fine. We're located on the corner of Church and Main Street. It's a property that abuts to it where the corner's cut off by a gas station. We would love to have had that be part of the development, but that's not gonna happen. We're also on Cold Meadow, which I wanna call it a brook real bad, but it's called a meadow even though it's a flowing stream.
Yeah, that's. I don't want to interrupt you, but it's actually Cold Harbor.
Cold Harbor.
Yeah, Google Maps has it wrong.
Oh, it says, oh,
Yeah.
good, so it is a brook.
Yes, Cold Harbor Brook.
God bless you, because I've been going crazy. Okay, so we're on Cold Harbor Brook, which is nice because meadows don't flow. And brooks do, so now I'm at peace with this. And one of the things that we wanted to do was kind of capitalize on the fact that we're on the brook. And there's some restrictions. We have a pump house with an easement for access, and that's 24/7 easement. They come in anytime they want and service the pump house, which is fine. We've respected the easement, but what's nice about it is one of the things we're going to do is, I'll call it, upgrade that easement by putting in some nice pavers. Right now, it's partial asphalt because it's worn and beat up. So we're not going to increase any of the impervious, but we will absolutely make it look nicer so that if you are sitting here, if we end up putting a restaurant or something, we can look across some nice brick pavers into the water or at the water. So here's Church. The development consists fundamentally of retail or commercial on the first floor, which is a lot of what Northborough wants. It's a mixed use to try to help the downtown be a little more vibrant. And then the second and third floors here are retail. The second floor here is another retail unit. So it's mixed, kind of, again, trying to bring life to the downtown. We have all the parking to meet the parking guidelines with respect to count, including if this became restaurant, which is a little bit more demanding than just commercial. So the parking requirements are met. For safety reasons, we can accommodate two-way in and out off of Main Street, but we just wanted one-way out. Because there's a light here and people speed up real quick and someone's gonna hang a right, then they're gonna try to switch in the left lane, and then all we're gonna do is keep the police and ambulance busy. So we're recommending just one way out, two-way in and out here, and then the path for the fire trucks, works. This parking will be dedicated for the residential. So we keep predominantly the public out of there. There'll be signage that basically says residential parking and handicap only. So that'll be there. And then this will be dedicated to the rest of the site. There's some really cool stuff going on right across the street from us. It's unfortunate this gas station, but directly across the street, this is the park. And that little center line is the entrance of the park. This little center line was a break in the fence for servicing the park. We really wanted to play with that if we could, but we couldn't, because it wasn't quite across from our property. But what we did want to do, there's a crosswalk here, there's a crosswalk here, is kind of support walking all around the downtown. In this project, it's a 0 setback requirement, so we could put the building right on the property line, because that's how it's zoned for downtown. We chose not to, but we also recognize that anybody else could. So we're trying to design this now where we would have low walls, and when we say low walls, we're talking 5 or 6 feet, just enough that we don't see, there's a lot of vacant cars and stuff back here that really isn't appealing. And we're trying not to see that, but if a building got built right next to our wall, that's fine. But that wall would then support a paved walkway that kind of takes us back along here and all the way to Colebrook, which would be really exciting for us, because now we can promote that pedestrian traffic. And additionally, there's a break in the elevation. Let's steal that wheel. Which, this is the elevation that faces Church Street. There's a break where it bends here. And we were kind of playing homage to the old fire station that was there that had the arched doors where they had the apparatus stored. But that break in the building is here, and then you can go straight back from Church here or here and tie yourself to Main Street without walking through the parking lot. So it's really trying to make a nice, safe, pleasant area. That green is also buffering us from what could be a building on the property. We don't know, but we have to prepare for the worst, so that's what we're trying to do. So this is, we use the word stoles because it's kind of cool. Millie stole a bunch of rocks from across the street. and New England has tons of rocks, stone walls and everything else. So what we're going to do is these rocks are going to be interspersed throughout the site just as natural features. And they're kind of focal points, but they're kind of eye grabbers, because we didn't want to put just a big, vinyl 8-foot white fence everywhere, because it looked too institutional. And we're lucky to have Millie Milton as a client, because she wants to, put in quotes, do things right. So those rocks will be incorporated into the stone wall. They're going to be part of the landscaping plan, and they're sitting at kind of special points along the plan. Even inside some of the walkways will have some of these rocks, just as kind of artistic natural features throughout the site. So that opening here, we basically have, it's an 8-foot centerline dimensions. We work on a pretty strict grid, trying to make things just easy to build, and how they used to be not only 50 years ago, but 1,000 years ago. When it was the Greeks or the Egyptians, they all had their cool little grids. So the 8-foot grid is that arch entry into the parking lot. It's covered. And again, we have these wall mounted lanterns that we want to put along that way to make it a nice lit up, wonderful experience tying the walkway out to Church. Eventually, it'd be nice to be able to have a crosswalk to get across the street. But for right now, we'll have a sidewalk running all along Church as well. So it's really a storefront. For downtown, we have the two setbacks. There's a minimum or maximum setback to the road, and then there's a minimum setback because we're trying to get a street facade. And we're kind of between the two, the maximum setbacks here, the minimums there, because they don't want buildings pulled all the way back. So you can see here, we're sitting there, giving ourselves a couple feet of cushion from the sidewalk to have a little more grass, a little more sidewalk. But also trying to support that storefront concept, which all good towns, have if they do. So, that's what's going on there. There's an entrance here. There's entrances to the different retails right off of Church Street. There's an entrance here off of Church into the retail and an entrance to the apartment above off of Main Street. So all the entrances face the street, which helps with the fire department and addresses, and if there's a panic, put a number, see it from the street. This is interesting here because, again, we're also trying to be green. So in some cases, if it's just apartments above, we didn't need an elevator. Again, we had a client that said, I want to put in an elevator to allow this to happen. So we do have an elevator, and the second floors are cantilevered, actually not, we have columns out, but extend above those sidewalks. So they're all covered. So in the winter, in the rain, if you're coming here and it's pouring rain, you can still get to the parking lot and then do your ready, set, go and run to the car. So the building extends beyond in all those areas, allowing for kind of easy traffic, and it's better with the snow and rain for the people, so they're all literally covered walks along the entrances in the back. There's an entrance here and an entrance here, both of them go to the elevator and stairs, which take you up to the second and third floor. And then there's just 2 units on the second floor here, 2 units here, and then the third floor has 2 more stacked on each end. We have a nice little space here that's kind of a roof deck that allows you to look out again on the Colebrook Garden. So that's one of the fun things. Our biggest goal and intent was to kind of embrace that waterfront. It's not, the Charles or the Atlantic Ocean, but it's our water, it's Northborough, and so we're saying, hey, we're on the water, let's really celebrate that. We did speak a lot with the town about this pump house. One of the things we want to do, and we got their blessing, is when we do the project, maybe we reskin that building just so it looks nice. It'll all meet all the codes and everything, but it just blends in with the property, so you don't have this big kind of machine that you're looking at. And it's no big deal to do that. That would be at our expense, but it just helps beautify the property. When we met with Concom, they wanted to make sure, even though we're not responsible for plowing and maintaining the easement, there was concern that we don't put the snow over here and then the salt and everything goes right into the water. So the recommendation was to put like a highway guardrail to make sure that didn't happen, and then we talked about it. And what we're planning on doing is putting some benches there, not having any more impervious, and some of Millie's rocks, which will then stop folks from putting the snow where we don't want.
So the benches instead of the guardrail.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
We're just putting something nice.
Yes.
Instead of, you can put a big guardrail and say, okay, this accomplishes our goal. Or you can put something nice and accomplish the goal,
Right.
which are rocks and benches, so now they can't get the snow there. The whole point was, you put up a sign and say, don't plow there. Okay, the sign doesn't work. You put up a fence, they can't. You put up big rocks, they can't. So,
Right.
and so that was the intent, is to accomplish the goal of protecting the brook without, again, making it look like a fortress. It was the same thing with the fence, I call it a fence, but with the wall along the border where we want to use rocks. I don't know how many people know, but if you go to White Cliffs, one of the cool things they did these beehive termination points to all their stone walls. Okay, and that's something we're looking to do here, where we can incorporate a little bit of that, celebrating Northborough's history. There's a lot here, and I'll let John talk more about the history, because when Millie and John got together and said, hey, we really want this to be Northborough. We don't want to make it exactly like it was 100 years ago, but we absolutely want it to be a part of our history. When we looked at those, it was such a cool thing that's unique to our town. So that was one of the things that would happen along some of these walls, and you'll notice the walls aren't everywhere, because again, we didn't want it to look like a big fortress. We're not trying to capture people or fence everything off. It's a balance between not looking at some of the stuff that's pretty unsightly and really trying to make it look nice and tie in with the town. So those beehive endpoints are really cool. If you want to see one, if you go right where, I don't know the name of the place, where Beezer's used to be, it's a Mexican restaurant, I think.
Yeah.
It's right at the corner of East Main.
Yeah, if you look at the intersection between East Main and Route 20, one of those beehive endpoints are there, and they're pretty magnificent, because if you look at them, they're not just stacked. That wall started with big flat rocks, then medium flat rocks, and whatever you had on the site, when you got to the top, they curved the top with the round rocks. So they were built very artistically and scientifically based on what we had here. And that's some of the stuff that we wanted to, try to, again, embrace and celebrate. And then the last thing, that our little Crystal Palace, a little kind of open glass area for seating, looking out onto the brook as well. So that's it in a nutshell. That's kind of the big picture. We have our civil folks here that can speak to that, and then John, if you want to talk about some of the pictures and some of the, what I was saying, and I forgot, when Millie and John were doing the historical research, she came in with a bunch of buildings she thought were cool in Northborough, and John's like, oh yeah, and it ended up, same building, which was really nice, because we were all on sync. So that was kind of cool, because we do have some nice buildings. Some are gone, but we still have a lot of nice ones that are here, and that's where all the vocabulary for these elevations came from. It all came from here. That's it.
I've got one question.
Sure.
My memory could be off, but the one building that is on West Main Street. What's the proposed use for that?
It's commercial first floor and residential on top. One floor residential on top.
Okay, how many units?
One.
Yeah, the last time we spoke, it was
Two
two
townhouses.
townhouses.
Right.
Yeah, we
Okay.
sort of corrected that or updated that.
Okay.
Based on,
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, just like I said, my memories. I thought I
I
said.
I didn't include you in that email, sorry,
Okay,
just to update that.
it's all good.
Was that decision made because of the adjacent uses?
There's a number of reasons.
Part of it was trying to get the commercial and a storefront here. This was all commercial, and then again, getting some residential. There's different generations. If we can get people to stay here and live here.
It's more consistent with the other units as well. It sort of offers the same level of living, whereas a townhouse, is sort of a pretty big step up. And we like the townhouse. It helped with parking clearly as well.
Oh, and one other thing that we would seek some help on. There is a 10-foot. Impervious requirement which. I've seen many times not necessarily enforced. And the intent of that is kind of respecting their neighbors, and if they got rid of the 20 cars back there that are all rusted out and don't work and don't run. Maybe the view would be nicer, but part of doing that was putting the stone wall here to make this nicer. Again, we're not running it the whole way we could, because we just don't want it to look like a fort. So we were holding this back 4 feet. And putting the stone wall on our side of the property. As kind of a screen, so we don't have to look at it.
The one thing I have a question about is that there's a 0 side yard setback.
Right.
For the downtown business, but people require a 10-foot buffer.
Makes no sense.
Yeah, because of impervious surface. They don't line up.
I agree.
Also, on page 7, 108, it says for safety, aesthetic, site design, or environment, you can waive it, so.
Right. Well, and I've seen it wait, and I think it's the right thing to do. Again, this is one of these things that just kind of makes sense, but it's a technicality.
Yeah.
I want to point it out. We could put a building there, but we can't put a 4-foot lawn there. And again, it's one of these things where, we made some of this a little wider. Brian will speak to, the whole drainage stuff, but the site works for drainage. We have some underground storage.
Really,
I do want to add one note on the number of units, because I think it's an important piece for our town, is that the number of, even though we have 9, which is under the required amount for an affordable housing unit, do have 1 that will be affordable. So we want to continue to add to the stock rather than just barely slide under it. It was really more of a parking issue that allowed us, or that dissuaded us from having that 10. But it was, the intent is not to skirt that issue, it's to add to it.
Right, and even though we don't have to by right, we are, which is, that's again,
Very
it's a
commendable.
Millie thing, right?
Right.
I say that because not all of our clients are that way. There's a lot of developers that are right down to the square inch, and she's not doing that. And I think you guys can see that.
Can I say something? Can I pop in there? I
Sure,
don't have a hand to raise, so through the chair. Are we going to work to get the mobile station in compliance and remove the cars that are there now that have never been allowed there but never been removed?
It's not up to us.
We will be working on
Oh.
that. We will be working on that. Some cars, if they have plates on them, are allowed to be there. Okay, it's only the cars that do not have plates on them that shall be removed.
So if there's no service going on and it's gas and beer and wine, how long does the car get to sit on the property then? There's no repairs being done.
There's no limit on it, there's no minimum. As long as it's roadworthy, allowed to be there.
No minimum.
that's that. They also, to make sure they're registered, not just show a plate on,
Well, what I do is I send it to the police department, and I said, these plates legit,
right?
That's typically what I do if there's a plate on it, and the car appears to be sitting there for a while.
Right, because he's not allowed to do sales there either, it's not an auto sale company, so it should be in and out.
Yeah, it really should, because he can't lease it to the gas station across the street who does body work. He has a
Correct.
specific product that he offers.
And he's not a parking lot, so.
Right, so I mean, I think if we want our downtown to start looking nicer, I think we need to start doing something about it and help. Thanks, Daria.
Okay,
I just wanted to expand on the screening, so I think the intent is not to have an 8-foot tall continuous wall, sort of what Mario was hinting at. In addition, the heights will change, the materials will change, that's sort of what all these, visuals are sort of, black iron fence, potentially wood fence, some pilasters with lanterns on. I mean, the intent is to sort of make this a nice,
Like a
you walk, like a park. You want to walk through it, built-in benches, landscaping, bushes, trees, just sort of. So it's screening and for sure, it'll be stone wall, sort of a field stone, natural field stone looking wall versus sort of a unit, manufactured. But also it will change and the materials will vary, as we walk through and there are benches potentially built in, potentially, a rock becomes a bench, lots of potential.
Did you want to see some of the buildings? We submitted a lot of the buildings that we looked at, and if we don't want to go through that, that's fine, just understand that this all came from here.
We could go through comments at this point for us to say, you guys want to do it that way, or do you want to go through the buildings and then?
Well, it's just they reference buildings, but they.
Right, so
Oh.
so the 20 or so buildings within the 300-foot radius, we sort of did that. And then we took it. For that, we sort of took it to the next level and looked at sort of the history of Northborough and you find that there are lots of arches and bay windows, plenty of masonry, a lot of detailing in the different areas of the buildings. I mean, there's a lot that I learned with regards to Northborough and yeah, I did submit this just as a as a guide of what we we went way beyond our area. Which there are some great buildings in our area, but then we thought it deserved. And like Dario said, we were pulling in inspiration from just all over the place and outside of Northborough, we sort of had some similar, hey, look at that, that's sort of the greenhouse over there.
Our favorite building was the bank.
The bank, yeah.
Question about building number two and three. Is that the one that used to be at the corner of South Street and burned down? That's
No,
where.
it's the same building.
I think it's painted white now or painted,
Oh, so
The
this
third
is the
story,
space building.
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
yeah, the third story came off in the early '60s.
okay,
that's what it is.
okay, yeah, wow, they really changed it a lot.
Well, right, and a lot of this is just through the
village.
Northborough Historical Commission. I grabbed a lot of these, and just most of them actually. It's pretty consistent.
These are great.
I'd love to see that third floor back on that building.
We talked about that on the DRC. We did the streetscape stuff.
Yeah, no, it was taken off because the building wasn't structurally sound to support it. There were cracks forming.
A lot of the buildings were painted a lighter color. I noticed, I mean, I don't know if some of these are just artist renditions of the historical buildings, but colors there were a lot more colors. Everything seems like it's just painted, way it's easier to maintain, I suppose.
Each one. That's the same.
You guys have any questions on this? Thoughts, questions, or shall we move on?
Nope, this is great, thanks. We move on. Unless anyone else has question.
Okay.
Only, I guess, excuse me, the only thing I probably would ask is, because I can't really see from here, it's brick mainly, right? What's the
Yes.
actual outside the facades of the buildings?
Some brick and there's some wood where we have the glass. You want to speak to that a little bit?
You're gonna go.
I'm gonna hold this up while you speak. There you go.
Thank you. Oh, it's beautiful. I'm very excited about it. I think the combination of the team that's putting this all together is just, it's the dream team to me. So I think you're gonna bring a lot to the town and I appreciate what you're doing.
Yeah, it's intended to be sort of a panelized, tavern style wood and lantern along the. What we're hoping is what will be a restaurant, and then the roof deck above, it's, has the ability to be enclosed, but also. A wide open roof deck, and then brick and molding, glass entry arches. That's the intent, likely slate roof or some sort of, slate-like roof, wherever there is visible movement.
Can you point out that little entranceway? That's the hallway between the two.
Right, oh, there you go, yeah. Yeah, so this is what Dory was talking about earlier, this opening connects all the way through to the other end of the site. And
Can you put it up there so we can all?
Everyone
Yeah,
can
so we can all see.
so everyone can see it.
Is there actually like a window opening at the other
Yeah.
end now? Is
Yeah,
it then?
that's a little feature, just an
Yeah.
opening, not even a window, just an opening.
Look for the top, but it bends around and then comes back
So
on the
that,
other side, yeah.
yeah, and you can see it here.
There.
You're looking straight, you're gonna see that wall.
The back end.
in it.
Looks like an alleyway. Yeah.
Yeah, and we, again, Hudson had some cool little narrow, really wonderful alleys. We talked about where Lockovers used to be in Boston. There was I don't even think it was 4 feet wide. But you went through this little alley, yeah, it really was, and then you popped out into this wonderful plaza, so. This was the alleyway, and to make it consistent with the alleyway, we continued. This elevation all the way here, so that 8 foot came through, and we didn't want to darken it up, so we threw some rocks and actually an opening in that little wall just to bring light in.
Mhm.
And again, kind of celebrate what we're trying to do here, so that's kind of a little fun spot that. It was intentional, I mean, we could have had a facade the whole way, but it was just like, this could be really cool because you can get to the parking, but you don't see the parking. But it's very accessible, you don't have to walk around the building. Talks about here. So you don't have to walk around the building to get to it yet. It's very quick access to it, it's hard to do that, kill 2 birds with 1 stone, have parking that's accessible. When you're coming out of the building and also not have it. Be your front door.
Is the rooftop patio, is that for the restaurant, the residents or? Both?
Right now for the restaurant.
Only.
So. If you could just clarify, so this elevation right here
It's stuck to that elevation.
is that.
Yes.
So this is, so when you're on Church Street
That's what you see.
and you're looking across the street, that's what you see.
This is because they're not parallel,
Okay,
right?
Yeah.
So this is this. It's the same piece.
yeah,
But because that breaks, we wanted, this is dimensionally 100%
okay,
correct.
so it's like this.
Yes, and that's,
So you're not really gonna see this from Church Street, this is
Oh,
viewed
no.
from the gas station.
no, this is church. This is right on Church Street.
Okay.
So this is the most prominent, yeah, right there, that's the prominent.
That's that section, this is the
Okay,
top,
so
the
this is
stairs,
that
the top.
doorway.
Yes, that's the,
Okay,
right, and
Yeah.
and
because.
then the glass is.
That's right.
Right there.
Right,
Okay.
because it turns a little bit.
Yeah.
I wanna get in all kinds of technicalities, when it turns. Technically, it's not that elevation, so what we call it, which is what this is an unfolded elevation, because the angle is so slight.
Yeah.
It's, if you look at this, if I'm on Church Street, that's very visible, it's almost directly parallel, but it might be off by 6 degrees. Because it's meant, cause that's what the property line does. Otherwise the whole thing would have been straight. But so people understand what they're really going to see.
Yeah.
This is a legal and technical accurate elevation. This, which is why it's up here, is actually what you would see.
that would be
That's
helpful
Church
when
Street.
you file with the ZBA, cause I was kind of
Yeah.
confused.
And that's why we did this. We made this big and you're like, but that's kind of the legal thing to build a building by, when you say, give me your elevations, those are the elevations, because if we connect them. Then it looks like it's parallel, then someone's gonna say, oh, you're trying to lie to us because those aren't the same elevation, and they're so close. If you look over there, it's like a 9-degree difference where the property line starts to feather back. I'll bring it closer just so you can see it. So the property line, this is Church, and then it feathers back a little bit.
Yeah.
So that elevation is that,
Mhm.
because it's feathered back a little bit. If you're standing on Church Street and you don't have it in context, you might think it was parallel. But we're trying to be technically accurate here, but this is more, hey, people, this is what you're really gonna see. And that's why we did this one big front and center. This is what you see from Church Street. I'm sorry, this is what you see from Church Street. That's why we connected them. Because that's more honest and realistic, but not technically accurate. Does that make sense?
Yes.
It's called a unfolded elevation, where you just bring it so it's parallel so people understand it. But when you're doing legal documents, that is not the same elevation as that, because it's facing a different direction. It's,
Can you explain the cornice a little bit? Like, what is that going to be? Is that like painted wood or?
I don't. It
Yeah.
wants to be, I'll say what it wants to be, I don't know what it will be, it may end up being synthetic material, but it's meant to emulate the stone cornices that we had on a lot of these brick buildings. Could it be wood? We've had those on the brick buildings too. When we get into the details and the roofing, we'll make that decision, but it's really meant to play homage to the past and have these nice, and we want it. Again, I will give you one of the design parameters that we have, when we ask clients. How long do you want the building to last? Seems like a silly question. It's not. When we build for developers, they're gonna build it and they're gonna flip it in 2 years. So flip it in 2 years says, I want the cheapest roof. I want rooftop units. I don't care if they break down in 7 years. And then we, as the architect, since it's their project, their money, we have to respect that, and that's what we design. When we ask Millie, I want it here forever, 50 years minimum. So what's that tell us? Nothing cheap. So my point is, whatever the cornice is, she doesn't want to maintain it.
Okay.
So we're gonna put in good stuff, not because you guys say, hey, put in good stuff, it's really what our client wants, because it's not really up to the town to say you have to use this material, but just so you understand in context what we're doing. So I don't have every one of these things, and we've looked at a lot of stuff finalized, but I do know the intent, I do know our mission. So it's not 7-year rooftop units, it's something, hey, I want this to last forever, I want it to be green, I wanna put in the elevators, I wanna do beautiful walls. These walls will cost $0 more than a vinyl fence. It's not like it's twice as much. But again, she's trying to do the right thing by the town. So that's, so I don't 100% know, but it's intended to look authentic as to what it looked like in the past. When we do the details, if it's masonry, oh, we gotta put these supports, blah, blah, if it's concrete or stone. What if we do a synthetic material that we can do the same thing? You can't tell the difference from the ground, yet it's easier to support, it doesn't get mold, that's where we'll be on that. It'll be more of a technical answer, but I know what the boss said.
It'll be a built out molding, with.
And that's why we have the shadows over there, cause you do want a nice top. And that's, go ahead.
And will the AC units be on top, so
Yeah, we're trying not to see any of that
Yeah.
stuff, yes. Yeah, we haven't gotten that.
So that would be
Right.
tall enough to be technically a parapet, right?
Pardon?
That'd be a parapet.
It depends on the site angles, not necessarily, if the units are far enough back, it doesn't matter how tall it is. If we see the units, then we would raise it up.
And the units have the ability to have their own systems within.
Within the
facility.
apartments.
That's the initial thought, that the HVAC or units will be in
in the apartments. You'll get on the utility costs. Pardon?
Are you talking mini splits?
Yeah,
something like that, heat pump, maybe supposed to something.
Where you don't have all these condensers sitting outside.
Right.
But with mini.
We have- but we have-
and the outside
The floor
too.
plans show,
Well, I think flat roofs are allowed in our updated guidelines as long as they have a decorative cornice or.
Right, that's why I was trying to get to say
So
it was
that'd be
perfect.
okay.
well, no, it doesn't have to be a parapet, well,
It has to be, I guess.
Pardon?
Well, yeah,
If you don't wanna do a
the-
variance, it's.
It's a-
so we did this, we changed the whole guidelines in Bend, Oregon, I don't wanna go through this whole thing, they wanted all pitched roofs, we went back to their history, 90% of the roofs were flat. They want- but
No, it doesn't mean they're not block flat roofs downtown.
no, because it's our history, and
Yes.
Yeah,
They work
and that's what this.
right,
was-
and they work, and that's what we were trying to do.
Right, right, and that's got a parapet, so.
But I guess what he's saying, if you write it up as a
Yeah.
flat roof, then it would need a variance, so. it would-
Fair enough, okay.
Yeah, so it has a cornice.
Right, and the reason you have the rule is because you're trying to make it look good, it's,
Yeah.
so, alright, okay.
I think it looks good,
Yeah,
I love this tower element.
is there anything gonna be up there, or is it decoration?
I don't know yet.
On the roof?
No, in
The
the town.
top,
I don't know.
Holiday
Might like that
decorations
look
in
there.
Halloween, you can have
but-
Santa and Christmas, and
Yeah.
This is the.
are there stairs that go up there?
the weather.
The stairs.
We're not that-
Yeah.
Patriots.
No, it looks amazing.
Lanterns up there?
Patriot
Yes, and there you
Two
go.
lanterns.
Put the lanterns up.
I mean, this is your first like meeting with anyone, this is amazing. Everything
It
that
looks
you've
like
done.
the Bronx and Boston.
Don't forget the copper on the slate roof.
Yeah, I just wanna say that too, I mean, is it, cause I can't see all of it. Is the flat roof, you're gonna make it look so it's not flat? Or you're saying you wanna make it flat because we have other town buildings that are flat?
We wanna make it flat because that's how a lot of the mill buildings, a lot of the downtown buildings were throughout all of New England, including Northborough. It's contextual. That's the reason we wanted that. We don't wanna make it fake and do cartoon contexture because that's something that we have in some bylaws that force you to do things that are unnatural and not aesthetically pleasing.
The old fire station had a flat roof right there too, but it has that little.
So many of our buildings did, and I understand the intent, you know, without a doubt, and the point is, we'll meet that intent. We're not gonna sit here and have a bunch of mechanical units sticking out, that's a guarantee, that's just something we're not gonna do.
But if you were to look at four West Main Street, you would look at that as a flat roof?
Mansard.
Mansard.
Well, it's mansard, then it's all flat on the top, 90% of the roof is flat, it's got a fake little facade that mansards back. So that it gives it a nice top, but by code, it's a flat roof, because when you go up top. You're not putting shingles on 90% of it, it's, you know, some type of a membrane.
The original building was a true mansard, this one's not.
But
Yeah.
even when they flatten out their flat roofs, it's basically a tilted parapet is what a mansard is.
Right, and basically the one across the street had a third floor, and I think it probably had the same type of angle on its roof. I mean, you're gonna walk around, obviously, you have to do repairs and stuff, but how does the snow load and everything work on a flat roof like that?
It would be designed into the roof structure.
Yeah, snow load's not, that's like saying.
And we actually are showing the mansard on the north elevation, the elevation facing the brook.
Cause I do know that Four West does have a problem with the winter, like they used to put up a
If you
scaffold.
do bad details, you'll have problems. Is four west the
Town hall.
The old town hall. The big, and they put a fake floor in.
And back
The
then.
original building had a real mansard, and it also has a problem with
I
sound.
see, I see.
Yeah, we have codes and details now
Yeah,
that
that's all built.
our roof will structure, right?
Back then.
But you can open
Is this
it. That's it.
So here's a question though, if you some of it flat anyway. Could you make it into like a little garden area that the tenants could go to?
No, it's another floor, we need elevator access. And we're exceeding our budget with that for sure. Not the height, I think we can go another story.
Well, what's the height of the tower? We are coming up against the height.
I don't know. Get that to you.
Sometimes if it's decorative on top though, it doesn't count. So
Right,
nothing's great.
that's why we're gonna get.
Well, it is, we're not occupying it, but
Yeah,
Yeah, but space below it is occupied.
right, the space below is within the height. It's a decorative, it's like a cupola.
Yeah, I don't even know what the height is, but that like a very.
The 45?
It's 45.
Yeah, right now,
Yeah.
the main roof is 35-ish. That's about where we are with the main, it's 11, and 14.
And what's the height, was the 40?
It's in the 40s, yeah, 45.
Yeah, so we're 10 feet,
If you're not, you know. right.
we're 10 feet lower.
Yeah.
well, the building is amazing.
That's the building now. Standing.
Do you wanna go through all the different elevations? See all sides?
Yeah, they're all there.
Oh, and then just for like the people on TV watching.
The glass portion of the building, is that, it'll be wood or different material? Do you think for that?
Big yes. Analyze. Thanks.
Brick elevation, so this volume here is sort of observatory fields, like a glass, greenhouse that you occupy and, you know, have eat, hang out,
That's your roof deck.
No, the
On
glass.
the left.
The gray at the
Yeah.
top,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's over that page.
this little, you know, this rectangle here is sort of meant to be
Oh,
an open glass, seating area. You know, this sort of turns the corner and mimics, and like I was saying earlier, potentially a mansard roof where we're still working out a lot of the details. And then parking lot side, and we'll produce the rest of those elevations. For now, it's intended to sort of, you know, be consistent with the rest of the buildings. And, you know, we will probably make these parking lot elevations more consistent with, you know, what you see on the other side.
We're also, John. So they can see, but we're also limited on the parking lot side where we're abutting the neighbors. We can't have windows for fire reasons. Because you can't have a zero clearance building with a window because our window would make our fire burn their building down, so. By code. It's illegal to put that, so we're trying to use all the same materials. Because on this piece here. The building is very close to the property line, so it'll be the exact same materials, but we can't do. That. For fire code reasons. You have to be. Certain amount of feet back, and if you're 10 feet back, only 5% could be openings, that there's a whole bunch of codes. Because our building can't burn their building down and their building can't burn our building down. So when you're on the zero clearance, unfortunately, you can't have windows. These are apartments that are designed to have the windows facing the water, which is fine, because that's what we have facing the water, and then it's the exterior, this wall here you see is solid. For the restaurant for the same reason. That's something that we just can't touch, and yeah, that's, just so you know, we're not saying, oh, look, we get the same 6 windows. We can't do it
Because the upper floors are extended out to the.
right, but even here,
They can look at-
you're close enough to the property line, you're not getting windows in there. So, and it's just a code thing, it's, you know, look pretty or kill people, you could pick.
Okay,
Little extreme, right?
What?
Why, it's just,
It's the truth.
that's the point, Bob, it's the truth, I don't disagree with the code.
Yeah,
In
I
that case.
Somebody took it, heard that one.
Right, sorry.
The smaller mixed use building, again, is meant to Now, the first passage sort of mimicking the other large meeting equipment. And this is West Main Street, and this is the parking lot side, and you can see, you know, it's just east and west elevation. Larry and I were talking about, you know, maybe adding more height on this with a roof, or potentially, you know,
Yeah, cause that being a flat roof is gonna be probably an issue. Without some type of ornamentation.
and this is the first pass, and it's consistent with the project itself, but it needs some work. Good.
Yeah, I will say that that is something that I did bring up, because I was like, I'm not a fan of the flat roof there, so.
I
It's-
was just out west and this is an old west.
Yeah, it does, yeah,
A
So-
smaller version of the larger building.
Yeah,
yeah.
That gives that feel, yeah.
So we're kind of working on whether or not we make it look maybe a little more like a mansard
yeah,
or something that is definitely more aesthetically.
Something that gives it more.
Plus-
the apartment entrance on the left of the second view in. That's facing Main Street.
It is,
In the park, so it's completely on the opposite side of the building from the park.
it is.
That's something you're requiring or? I mean, that's the worst thing about that apartment, is that you always have to walk completely around.
Well, that's what our
To get to your car.
regulations say, the parking has to
To
be
your
either
car.
to the rear or
It's pretty well connected, you
side.
know,
you can't.
Yeah, but the front is the front door, but
You do,
the
you
main
do have-
store is facing Main Street, so this is just the side entrance to get up to the apartment. I don't know.
It's it's the only entrance to the apartment.
Yeah.
Right.
Correct.
It's, yeah, and so, you know, the thought was, you know, you basically access it through here.
Yeah, I just think
It's a
really
classic,
nice.
it's a classic one up like everything in the north end.
Okay,
I go in
well,
the
I mean,
front
we
door.
purposely don't wanna be the north end, though. We're a small agricultural town.
Fair enough.
So can you just describe to me what the concern is? I just want to make sure I'm clear.
Oh, it's out door in the back.
The
Apartment.
unit, okay,
The smaller, the.
Yep.
the smaller.
where the parking is,
Yeah, the residential parking is on the
That-
inside, towards the other two buildings.
yes,
Now,
okay,
plus, he's got a park out there, you know, but you just have to walk all the way around the building, which. On snowy days, that sidewalk's gonna have to be cleared before, you know, 6 a.m. type of thing, it might be a pain, where. It could just be on the opposite side with the staircase going down the direction, you know, flip the apartment. So that this door.
Yeah, the fire station and the post office didn't like that, but we can do it. I mean, these people here. They're entering here,
Yeah.
they have to walk twice as far as that guy has to walk. Just, you know. For example, which is a typical apartment complex. Where you have front and back door entries, there's nobody there. That's walking 20 feet to their door. To get into their units or to get into an elevator or a stair. That would be one of the shortest travel distances, but we can put it in the back, I mean, it's.
Well, and everybody's gonna have to walk into that building because the. Well, the entrance is facing Main Street. And is that a service entrance on the backside of that building? Yeah. This is
There's
the,
no entrance in the back.
For the tenant, the commercial space is on the ground level. He's got a back door, you know, exactly where it will be, and then his front door, exactly.
Yeah.
Delivery.
so everybody's gonna be walking around that building.
So where's the second means of egress for the second floor apartment?
You don't need one.
Yeah. Four
Emergency
No.
4 units per floor is allowed, one needed egress.
window.
That's exactly.
In essence, yeah.
That's the way to say that, yeah, a window, it has to be a certain size.
What about the fire situation? Don't they need a second means of egress?
Yeah, egress windows, I mean, that's.
It's a window, it's
Can
every,
they jump out the window then?
Yeah.
it's every, think about every 2-story house, there's only one stair coming out of your house.
It's more.
Every 3-story house, there's one stair coming out of your house. It's 2 means of egress based on occupancy, so if you have 10 or 12 or 30 units, and all of a sudden there's a point where you say, hey, we need two ways out. You can have a 3-story house, I mean, we're putting up 12-unit apartments in Worcester, 1 stair.
You're limited to 4 units per floor, one means for egress is allowed.
And every,
Which is-
and every sleeping room has to have
Exactly.
an openable window that is a certain size.
Exactly.
And once you get to that size, you need a sprinkler system, automatic sprinkler system, so that's the thought, the sprinkler system goes off, you've got a lot more time to get out, and it's only. 4 or
My
5
dog
people.
had that in Burlington, Vermont, she was on the 4th floor. I'm like, where's the second egress? So like that window, you just stand on the roof until the fire.
And that's the other limiting factor. I wanna say the other.
I got her a flat, that she can hang out her window.
The fire station is across the street.
Oh, that's right. I can just point the hose.
Open up to the cars, go by.
Does anyone else have any questions?
Well, wait, not done.
Oh, I know.
Just real briefly introduce myself to the board. I'm Brian Willis, Haley Ward, with civil engineer project. And so as part of our submittal package, we put in a kind of progress print of our site plan to kind of give the board an idea of what we're doing utility wise, things like that. In no way, shape or form is considered to be final, as you can see, and we'll take some time to give us some comments that you can touch on a few things, but I am over here not just laughing at the banter back and forth, but here to answer any questions on site utilities or anything like that, so. Thanks.
Thank you.
So the next time you come, you'll have the landscaping?
We do have.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I thought you were leaving.
We have the full civil set if you want.
Several of them, we also have, Eagles and Bounds.
So we as in town, yeah,
We have to, you know, we have to go through and agree and be content, so this is the first pass at the landscaping plan. Yeah, it's pretty thorough,
I was excited at how full it was.
Yeah.
So it's not like a tree here with
no.
mulch around it, a
Right.
tree here with mulch. I think it's gonna be
Stupid
beautiful.
questions, but you know, you've got a limited snow storage area. And a lot of these plants are gonna be covered with snow storage. They hardy enough to handle it.
That's a good question.
well, that's the landscaping.
That's
But part of the reason too.
No, I was just gonna say, that was certainly one of the questions when we were putting the layout plan together and we were out in the snow. And we're gonna throw him on his plants, I wanna make sure he's, so it's a great question, and we're looking at that.
And we were trying to bring the rocks further away so that they weren't in the way of putting the snow there as well, so. There was more green to put it on, but if you put, you know, a holly bush, it's not gonna do well with 8 feet of snow on it.
Rocks do great under a snowbank.
Yeah.
Have you ever hit a rock found in snow?
But that's why they're back.
It'll
Dock
knock
it
you
right
down.
away.
They'll also teach you to stay on the drive.
Right.
A little.
And if you wanted to show just 2 seconds to civil, so they see, it's,
Yeah, I mean,
there's a lot of work that went in.
again, it was just more of an idea, just to give an idea of what we're gonna be presenting. The site is serviced by municipal sewer, so we're gonna connect into that. The site is serviced by municipal water, so we're gonna connect into that with both domestic and fire services where it's required. Stormwater is probably the bigger, say, issue. But we are planning on using, you know, subsurface recharge systems within the parking lot area. You know, catch basins or water quality units in order to meet TSS and stormwater standard. And we tried to detail some of that stuff out here. Again, it's certainly not in any way, shape or form to be complete. Wanted to provide, again, this with an idea of what we're doing. See that? You know, this is the parking area here with the subsurface system. It'll be collected by catch basins with deep sumps and hoods to water quality units prior to discharge. These types of units, I'm sure, and well, you're probably familiar with them. They have what they call their isolator road technology for more TSS removal, so we will meet the standards. Commonwealth of Mass standards as well as equal standards. We are still in the process of designing those. We have the pre-development model all set up. We have the post-development model kind of going, but depends on exactly how things work out with the amount of impervious cover and things like that. We tweak that so it matches the site.
What type of curb are you proposing to be around the parking lot?
Yeah, so what we had, right now, we don't show any curb, although we have a detail for vertical granite curbing on our plans. The parking lots are graded such that everything, rather than running to the outside to the curb level, kind of drains to the interior of the parking lot. So from an engineering standpoint, we don't really need curbing, so we didn't show any. But I did read your comment letter, and so we will provide, we'll talk over with the team, either vertical granite or concrete curbing as necessary to protect some of those landscape areas, so.
I don't know if you check the health department or the DPW, but strap for the restaurant.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's gonna be required. We will find a home for it and show it, and then once everything is to the building permit level at some stage, we'll, like that, but yeah, absolutely.
One other, big thing that, we didn't point out, which has been RMO as a company. This is all meant to be universal design as well. And that's a big deal, where we bring the parking lot up to the sidewalk where handicap spaces are. And for those of you who aren't familiar with universal design, it exceeds the ADA, the American with Disabilities Act. It goes above and beyond for two reasons. One, it's easier to use, so we don't have any ramps. Ramp is anything over 5% is considered slope. You need ramps, you need grab rails, you need handrails for the handicap. Everything here will be less than 5% slope. And that makes it easier on the handicap, but equally important in universal design, it also is kind of an all-inclusive design, so you're not saying, okay, you people with the problems, you go over there and us normal people will go in the main entrance. That's one of the biggest things about universal design. We're not trying to isolate, we're not trying to make it look institutional. You don't see any handicap ramps or grab rails or anything on this plan, nor will you for that reason. So when you park a handicap space, the code says, okay, you buy these funky little sidewalks with the bumps in them and they slope down, and then I'm walking down the side, I trip if I'm an old person because I'm not. What you do very simply, and it's what's kind of being supported now across the planet, is you just bring the driveway up to the sidewalk. So everybody just walks to the sidewalk and you're not going in your special little knots that sloped out just for you, and you people go there and us people go here. And it goes beyond that, when you get into even restrooms, right? We don't have handicap urinals. We're gonna have one urinal that anybody can use, so that you people go over there and us cool people go over here. That's the whole intent of universal, and it's safer. You don't even see it. If it's less than 5% slope, you don't need the rails, you don't need the grab bars, and it doesn't look like a hospital, and that was the big deal.
You guys did that at Devereaux.
Yes.
At 200. And it was weird because you pull up to the parking lot in the main door, and all you see is a handicap parking spot. There's no rails, no ramps, no detectable
Yes.
surfaces. Okay, none of these funky poured curbs or any of that stuff. And it's just literally,
It's a sign and paint on the floor.
that's it,
That's it.
you
The
know?
sign is because of code.
Yeah, but it worked out really, really well that way.
People like it, it's easier to maintain, it's more civil, you're not triggering people. Again, the whole intent was you make it safer and everybody kind of does the same thing because we can.
Well, it's inclusive.
Yeah, and we did it at Dana Hall School and the head of the select board went out of her mind. She's like, we want to mandate this is so cool because we had some significant slopes, but we just made all the dirt come up to the entrance. And everybody just came in the same entrance, and all the other guys had these zigzag ramps that went back and forth where you people go. Which is if you really study it, it's a pretty cool thing, but it's all here. So when we talked about no curbs, in some cases, we really, really don't want them. Other cases, if you want them, sometimes the blades want to run against them. That's fine, but the intent on that, especially where the walks are to be able to walk directly on the sidewalks for everybody. So I don't have to walk somewhere and then you have to walk somewhere else. And that's important, that we didn't tell you that, but when you see it, that was intentional, you know. Just to, it's another way of doing it, and then you're draining the water away from the building, not to the curbs next to the building, which is also a nice natural thing. So if you get a downpour, it's not coming up and trying to jump over the curb and get into the building. Everything's sloping away from the building, which for quite a while, downhill is the way water wants to go.
Could you
Good
also
point.
address the paver question that I had about what the pavers are gonna be set in? Cause I see it both ways. From a drainage standpoint, you wanna have the porous pavers. But then I know the disabilities commissions don't like porous pavers because then over time they, shift and then they may not be ADA accessible at that point.
Yeah, anything we're walking on, the sidewalks has to be ADA.
Yeah.
So that will be.
But long term, what are you setting it in? Are you setting it in?
I don't have those
concrete?
details yet.
Okay. Yeah, cause that's one thing I want you to consider because I know when I've had conversations with disability commissions. Their preference is to have. The concrete surfacing, so concrete walkways with the decorative pavers on the side. So that then it ends up being stable long-term.
Yeah, or stamped concrete, something, yes.
Yeah, so if you guys could think about that and come with an answer.
Regarding what John earlier said, that the building overhangs a lot of the sidewalks. So the impervious issue kind of goes away because that roof is already impervious.
Yeah.
So the walks adjacent to the building can be set in impervious layer, concrete, asphalt, whatever it may be. Gives them a little bit more stability to it than the impervious area goes out the window. Some of the exterior kind of walkways and whatnot, we have the room. Either put pervious pavers in just to try to cut down on some of the stormwater runoff, but we'll discuss that.
So the area between the brook and the building, but that's intended to be papers also.
Well, that's up in the air. We'll walk you through that, right? I mean,
So that's kind of what we're arm wrestling over now. So from an aesthetic standpoint, the architectural side wants a brick paver look, so when the restaurant people are out overlooking that, they see a very nice surface. I happen to like sewer lines, I'm a civil engineer, there's sewer lines, there's water lines, there's an access to that pump station. If for some reason that ever has to be excavated to fix the line in there, I don't wanna have to dig through concrete. I don't wanna have to saw cut concrete, so we talk about maybe an asphalt with a stamp on it that you can paint. Kind of. He hates it, he kind of yelled at me the other day about it, but we're still kind of arm wrestling on that issue. And of course, anything that we do there, we would have to run by the DPW and make sure that they're okay.
Yeah, I don't know, I think those pipes were just replaced recently. I don't know what they're.
well, so maintenance, yeah, that's our problem to solve in a way, but the bigger issue, which we talked to Vinny about in Concom. We talked about making it pervious. It's not pervious now. Well, actually it is because it's so busted up, but it's supposed to be asphalt. And I got in trouble because it was like half asphalt, and I got in trouble for saying half asphalt. And so I said partial asphalt. We can, and because of the guy with the brains here, we can go both ways, but I just want to explain the issue. If it's pervious, that's great because more stuff is soaking in the soil. But then Vinny says, that's great, it's soaking into the soil right next to the brook. I don't want that. So we can still make it pervious and then catch the water, clean it, retrap it and let it back, into the sewage system. So we're really back and forth. We're trying to do the right thing beyond what anybody would require because we actually want it to look nice. We want to kind of inhibit anybody from parking there, because look at this nice brick, whether it's stamped brick or real brick or just painted red asphalt.
Yeah, it would make a beautiful outdoor seating.
That's the whole point, and we're not allowed to sit there either,
Yeah.
but we can sit in front of it and behind it.
Yeah.
And because we asked, and it's not like it's an emergency thing where they have to get to the the sewage, pump station within 10 minutes, otherwise, some building's gonna sink. But none of our design has us dependent upon using any of that space. But we're going to it and next to it, and we're trying to pretend, which it is, I mean, Millie owns it. There's an easement. But we just want it to look really nice, so we're gonna pay the premium to do what we want. The only functional requirement the town has, is we have to be able to drive our trucks on. What color it is doesn't matter, and that's really what it boils down to. So if we make it really nice, you can drive your trucks on it. If we make it asphalt, you can drive, but it can't be dirt though, because they don't wanna have their tires getting stuck in the mud. So that's kind of where we are. Again, we're gonna probably end up doing above and beyond what anybody would require, but it's a little more complicated. And we are digging into the stuff, but it's kind of fun for us too, because we are, again, with Millie saying, no, this should look cool, and it is hers, she owns to the center line of the brook. So, we can always do nicer for the town as opposed to less. So that's the requirements, is we have to have a truck on it anytime we want, and that we understand and will do.
Thank you.
Make sense?
It does.
It is, there's way more, it's a simple question, but there's a complicated answer.
Yeah, no, I noticed we labeled it asphalt, but showed pavers, so.
We can tell you put a lot of time and thought into this whole design.
Well, it wasn't, yes, there's a lot there, we're still trying to figure it all out, but it's fun too, it's fun when, and again, when you have someone that actually cares as your boss, so.
Really good. Very impressed, it looks really creative, it's great. It's, it's a tricky location and you did such a great job with it.
This is going to be all one piece of property, right? Like a building's going to be sold separately.
Yeah.
There's only two.
Yeah.
Have you filed the plan to combine lots?
Yes.
You filed that already?
I don't know if she did that.
I did not.
Would that change anything, like it happened over on Maple Street where all of a sudden,
Well,
Yeah.
what it changes is the whole, of course, it's downtown business, but the minimum lot size in the groundwater protection overlay for the commercial piece is 20,000 square feet, but then for the multifamily piece is 40,000 square feet.
Yeah, we're not
So
quite
that's the problem, is that
Well,
if there are three separate lots, then there's the issue with that lot size.
Yeah.
but they also multi-buildings, and multi-building complex, the front doors change. And I don't know if that applies downtown, something we have to check in. I mean, I think it's great the way it is, so it's more.
Yeah, I think it's easier for you all around to have it as one
Yeah.
lot, which is great. Especially
It all
with the
makes
tax
sense.
bills and.
Right, but the fire department wanted a front door on all the buildings for the address.
Mhm.
Hey, there's a fire, and that's part of the reason we put the front door on the condo on East Main, at the post office, like, okay, I see 28, where's 29? Well, it's in the back. So the fire department did talk about that, and they said, does your restaurant have its own front door? Yes. Do there's 2 commercial space, or 3 have their own front door? Yes. So they're happy, because when the alarm goes off, they know exactly where to go. One address is East Main, the other 3 addresses are church. And the apartment address is the church.
when all the lots combine, will they still be able to do the 9 units?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah, it makes everything simpler.
okay, I just wanna make sure it didn't all of a
So we
sudden.
just have to, I'm just saying to get around that bylaw,
The 40K.
no.
Yeah,
no,
that's a variance.
No, the multi-building complexes. The bylaw states that if the multi-building complex, the front door has to face the access road. Where it's the one on Main Street won't.
Well, you can access it from Main Street. We have a one-way in there, so each front door has an access road.
No, it's one way out, but I guess that won't matter.
I'm sorry, yeah, yes, actually, we went back and forth on it, it's one way in. It could be 2 ways, if you guys say, hey, you have to have it, make it 2 ways, that's fine, we got the ambulance across the street.
Oh, so now it's in from Main Street or it's out?
It's out.
It's showing up right now.
It's going out.
Yeah, it's out.
There's
Yeah.
multiple
Yeah.
Yeah.
age strokes here,
It's-
so we can work with that, it's no big deal.
Right. It's wide enough to make it two ways, we just thought it was safer to have it one.
Whatever you guys decide for driveway directions, if it's an EMS or an emergency service call, they don't care.
That's true.
Right.
They're gonna put that equipment where they want.
Okay.
Okay. Now, does anyone have any questions?
Well, I have one silly one. What are you gonna do with the jail?
Ah,
Special dining.
Is that gonna be incorporated into the gardens?
that's
Or
my office.
Yeah,
inside where you,
Okay, that's where they go.
right.
Instead of washing dishes in the back, they go into the jail cell.
It's the wine storage area for the restaurant.
you know, you're right. That would be a great wine story.
Or the entrance to a speakeasy, maybe?
Oh, yeah.
We almost bought the Marlboro Police and Fire Station many, many years ago for our office, and the police cells were gonna be our office cubicles. Cause I thought that was so cool, like. This guy had
The guy sitting.
Right, we locked him in, you're not going anywhere till you're done doing that drawing.
And there's no basements here, right, in the water table?
No.
All my questions have been answered. You did a great job presenting everything in such detail for the first time coming in.
I agree with Amy.
Anything else? Otherwise, we'll say thank you.
The utility boxes, what are you gonna do with the utility boxes? Are you gonna do a wrap or are you gonna put landscaping around?
I figured landscaping would be nice. Some,
Combo.
structural design, architectural landscaping feature. That's
So make it into art.
Yeah,
Some sort of
exactly.
art.
Yeah, I saw a whole bunch of things at
The jail cell.
Tower, put the jail cell around it.
There you go.
So I do have a question for you guys on the sidewalks going around. What are we allowed to do? What are we expected to do? I don't love concrete and I don't love asphalt. What are my choices?
I think on the public way, so the public right of way for Church Street. I think it would have to be concrete, but you could probably do like the decorative paver edging. That we've been talking about doing.
Can you do a stamped concrete as well?
Think so.
I think so, but that should be cleared with DPW.
They put red concrete or.
Pardon? Stain, yeah, you can stain it, right.
I mean, the sidewalk does dead end at both ends.
Are we referring to
It does.
this section or the entire?
The town section.
The town, whatever is gonna be
Beyond
within the town's right of way.
Beyond the property?
Right.
So I guess that most of this sidewalk is on Millie's property, and then the property line sort of skews off, so I guess what you're saying is once we get to here, the town has a certain standard.
Well, you
Well,
can,
you're-
I was asking, can we continue what we're doing all the way to the stone wall? So
yeah,
so
so that's
that
the point of going to this.
I think that the DPW, unless he surprises me, I think what he's gonna say is it needs to be concrete. Where it's going to be along the frontage and serve the purpose of a walkway for the public.
Regardless of if it's, that applies to even when it's.
Not ours.
Okay.
It's just the public,
So-
5-foot walkway is required by code for public access to the property, that has to be concrete.
So the way that I envisioned it is that you would have your brick pavers and then you would have a concrete sidewalk within the right of way that is not currently shown. So right now, you're not showing anything in the right of way, so you would have
Concrete
to add
sidewalk
the
is
sidewalk.
basically that,
Yes,
not that, but that's all. So
What
from
is
the
it?
property line over is concrete.
But is it a sidewalk to nowhere, like it will never continue up
that's
Church?
it.
Well-
Regulation.
I know, but I know it gets waived, it used to get waived all the time because, Kathy would say it's a sidewalk to nowhere.
But ultimately, I think it'd be great if there's a sidewalk connection to Route 20.
Yeah.
Because you wanna
Yeah.
encourage people to,
And
But
I,
it'll never go up Church Street,
Well,
though,
plus
right?
those are technically the front doors. Side.
Right, and we've got 8 feet of our own in front of them, but I think the sidewalk makes sense. Even if it's a sidewalk to nowhere, over time, you'd like to have all the sidewalks in the town connect. So that makes sense, it makes sense, I understand the codes of concrete. We have the liberty to, again, enhance it, stain it, make it a cool color, put a little pattern on it, and this is just us going above and beyond what's required by code. So that it can look nice and be functional, be handicap sensitive and be easy to maintain. Cause those are the biggies, but to nowhere, to me, like in front of our building now, the sidewalk ends on both ends. I'm 100% content because the next guy that builds will connect to ours. And then you can actually walk a bigger part of Northborough, which I know is in the best interest of every single person here, and so even though it's to nowhere now. In 10, 20 years, hopefully they all connect and we can walk places without, having to spin our head for cars.
And was there a right of way around Vogel where the town
You
could?
know, I was looking at
Connected.
historic photos and it looks like there used to be a sidewalk there.
Well-
And then they removed it, maybe when they did the Mass DOT
Yeah.
Route 20 project, which I don't know what they were thinking then. But now that Mass DOT is changing their view of, highways and downtowns. Hopefully that sidewalk will be put back eventually.
So the town could put it back in,
It does wrap around the corner to get to the crosswalk.
right?
Sidewalks make sense.
But then that bridge over
That's
the Old Harbor
Mhm.
is a brand new bridge, and we didn't put a sidewalk there, so.
You just think downtown, if you're coming from the CVS, or say you park at Lake Street. And you wanna walk to this new building, it would be great if when you cross, if there could be a sidewalk at Noble to connect. To this property.
Nice footbridge over the.
We were also thinking possibly a crosswalk right at the end of the bridge. Because that could get you to the old fire station and all along the brook as well.
Oh,
Like
my
that,
nice.
that could be a cool spot for, which would tie in wonderfully with this. It would be right here. And across the street, it gives you access to all those commercial spaces, including the sidewalk. There's a sidewalk on that side of the bridge, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, there
And it
is.
gives you, so I'm walking down here, I can be safe and cross here, and now you have that safe sidewalk going. It's just extending out with further accessibility and everything else. If you do park at Blake Street, if you wanna go from CVS, come here, grab a cup of coffee, go back or get your nails done or whatever's gonna happen in one of these shops. You can do without moving your car every time. You can
Right.
just, and then it becomes a more friendly downtown.
Yeah,
pedestrian.
especially if people wanna park over by where that tea place is.
Yeah.
Because there's so much
Yeah.
extra parking
Right.
there,
Yes.
and then they can walk over to your place safely.
Yes, and that was one, we're going way beyond this stuff, but one of the things we did bring up. Initially, we talked about parking in other areas, but we managed to get what we needed here. And that's huge to have access to other parking spaces, and the one thing we don't have in our bylaws, because we're a little farm town. But as we grow and if we want the town to be more vibrant, there's not even a chapter or a page or a comment on valet parking. So sometimes when you go to a place like, you might not have heard of it, it's called C'est La Vie. It's a very nice restaurant with fancy breakfasts and they fill up their parking lot. So people will park across the street to the church, other places. But an option, if you don't want people crossing the street, is to say, hey, can we have valet? Then we're obligated to have people there during the rush hour and park, which is like, a million towns in our country. But we don't have it in our bylaws, so we just said, you know what, we're just gonna put the required parking, but it's a cool option. If you don't want parking lots in downtowns, cause you need to park, but you also. The big parking garages usually destroy downtowns.
Yeah, you can also do a shuttle full of workers and.
Absolutely, but we don't even have it as an option, so.
Yeah.
It'd be a nice thing to, just to think about saying, hey, if you have valet, And then it's incumbent upon the building owner
Yeah.
to have valet parking all the time.
I don't even think we have anything on seasonal seating.
No, we don't have, it. I just say it's something that might be cool to just think about, and put in.
Yeah, no, you gotta,
Yeah.
the world's changing.
You know, I was just thinking, back to your sidewalks, we're thinking about people visiting your new area, but also your residents are gonna wanna go walk
Hopefully,
downtown and
Yeah.
see other places.
hopefully.
So-
Work there, you shop there.
That's-
But then I wanna walk to CVS, so.
No, that's.
Just out of curiosity, what does it take to get a crosswalk installed? What do you have to go to?
Me, I don't know.
I think that, yeah, we have to.
W,
That would be,
DPW.
and DOT, no?
DOT if it's on 20.
If it's on Church Street though, I don't think you
Oh,
need,
maybe it's down the state road,
yeah. And so that would be
local.
Scott approval.
That'd be great, yeah.
Because that,
One of those things that, again, we don't have to, but it just, it's one of those things, I'm speaking on behalf of Northborough, not village at this point, just nice things to do. That aren't that expensive, it's some stripes and a curb cut.
but I think there are crosswalks painted or they textured.
They're the texture, yeah, we have the I think they're stamped asphalt,
Yeah,
or they might be
yeah.
stamped concrete,
Yep.
not sure.
But they were put in by the state.
That was part of the Route 20 improvement project.
Yeah, because that's why they put the no turn on red going on Church with the crosswalk right there.
Mhm.
That's supposed to be evaluated.
Well, now that the fire station is gonna be leaving,
Oh,
but
yeah.
then there's accessibility and all of that.
this is great.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
thank you guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, appreciate the input.
So I don't know what your next step is, what you're looking towards, are you trying to get in front of the ZBA, or you're still
I
having.
think we've got some work to do, but yes, we wanna get back in front of you guys, so we
Mhm.
have. Everything complete and certainly start with the ZBA. But it won't happen next week, I mean.
Right.
We have a fair amount of work still to do. But it was good to get your input, that's what we really want, because if we're going down a direction that you don't want,
Yeah,
we don't wanna invest any more money. You know,
yeah,
refining the details, you know, what's the roof gonna be, what's going in the tower, like. Well, we don't want that, we want it both like your next door neighbors, you got a gas station on both sides, make it look like the gas station. So. So,
I think this is incredible. It's nice.
but I do think it, so the ZBA, those are scheduled, right, they're every
every month.
so we can last Tuesday of the month.
Yeah.
Exactly, I just wanna make sure we're prepared, I don't wanna set a meeting up. and not have it.
Right.
Vacation is-
And we're gonna get it, because at least I'm gonna get it.
That's true.
That's what we said. Yeah.
I just.
Yeah.
I
So
only-
like September,
Yeah, that would make sense.
okay, because we meet the second Thursday, so maybe the second Thursday in September
Yeah, that's.
or October.
We have all August, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's Monday time.
Alright, I don't even know.
And thank you guys very much. And
Yeah, thank you.
Hang on, Lisa has a son.
Oh,
Just before you go, Dario, and a great job. When you talk to the water department about the pump house, and the vehicles that have to come and go, have you already done that?
yes,
Oh, so you know that just the depth that they need, like the
Yes.
12-foot or 20-foot driveway that they need?
yeah, they only need to put one truck in and back it out, so technically, they need 12 feet. We have 25.
Oh.
We're maintaining the 25.
All right, I'm sure that'll make them happy. Because they have one large truck, one 10-wheel
Yeah.
that comes in.
Yeah, no, we've talked to them several times. They're on, as a matter of fact, a subtle detail, we're gonna put a scrubber and pay for it on the exhaust, so that when you're having your cheeseburgers, you're not sitting there smelling someone's last night spaghetti.
so, yeah.
Die or look at it.
You know. So September lunch, it looks like it will be.
Oh
Yep.
boy, I don't like that thing.
You know, like that thing?
I
I know, we could meet on a Wednesday.
No, that's fine.
So good.
That's fine,
That's all right.
okay.
All right, thank you very
Thank you.
much. It looks really
Thanks a lot.
great.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for everything.
Prettier dying.
Prettier dying.
Ridiculous. My world's pretty.
Kill people.
Yeah, somebody said it's
Yeah.
Prettier kill people.
That one's not done. Yeah, I mean, that's the Chicago fight, that's what happened. When they were not separate for the entire city, that's when you said, nah, if someone wants them. Build a 2 foot wall, they really don't. You target them.
No, I can.
I do like. Yeah, I'm not a lawyer and I'm not a politician.
Thank
Thank you.
Thanks, bye.
Thank you.
Okay.
No,
Okay. So I definitely want to get the minutes done. Do you guys mind if we go to the minutes next, just to check those off?
Thank you. Nice to meet you.
Oh, no, we don't have, I don't know if they do.
Thank you.
Or we can start.
You look pretty ridiculous, is that it?
So we can go with that, you want to start? For the minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think we talked about those changes, your changes.
okay.
We talked about?
Did I just,
That must
Well,
be.
Lisa had a couple
That's-
changes to the changes, I think.
yes.
Yeah.
I didn't miss you.
If we wanna wait, we can, minutes after. After we go through the river, we could spread out. I did, Lori printed out the design guidelines. And I think I emailed them to you, Lisa. So in between meetings, I'm gonna go through the design guideline tech sheet. It's definitely very helpful and I think we need to start using it.
Yes, I'd like to do that too. What do we have to do to get it legally incorporated?
Over if you want more of this one. I just wanna see where we left off with the check sheet. Didn't we approve the check sheet? And then we talked about adding the bylaws in, but it probably got too overwhelming, so we didn't go any further.
Well, no, the bylaws are here,
Oh, they're
and
in
you
there,
got a link to them. The
okay,
only thing we're waiting on was, and of course, we're going back a year.
right,
Was if any of the numbers were going to, the links were gonna change because of the 2 years ago town meeting bylaw changes. Which I don't think have been incorporated yet, so. You know, they hold back for that, if worst case, it's broken link.
So,
right,
so what you have to do is keep what you have then, and then move forward with it, and then make the changes when
Yeah.
they're ready, right?
My notes or email history show that May 3rd was the last time I did an update, and after that, I got handed over to Michelle, and she may not have done updates since then.
She hasn't been here since February.
well, this
No,
was
this
last
is
year,
last year.
2024.
Because there was formatting stuff, and she did fix a couple of links that weren't working. But I'm just saying, on my May 3rd thing, if you look in the grayed out column, that should be hidden before we show it to people. There are notes there about, you know, massing and different things like that, that I think we addressed. And maybe the final name to change or something like that. And I didn't think this was the most recent because of those notes being in there.
Oh, so you don't think that's most recent?
Well, I know it's my most recent, but you see that anywhere there's, you know, the fourth one down, I have a note called massing, which
Yeah.
we wanted to deal with that here. And I think that was more because the fire station was an issue, and I don't think it'll ever be an issue again, so. Different notes, like on the second one, I don't even know what that means.
I thought you put those.
I did, I put those notes in this morning.
That's
Oh,
Before I
you got-
emailed it to Lori and
Okay,
then
well,
we
you look-
started going through the checklist.
I didn't print mine, I had notes in there too, I know massing was mine.
Okay, I took the one I had and then I added my own notes and
That's the one last week, because I had no memory of anything that said hillside.
those were my notes.
Okay.
But I just wanted, like, maybe between this meeting and the next meeting, we look through this checklist. And say, is this the one we're gonna use going forward?
Right, it's a,
Cause it has been like 18 months.
yeah,
And we might have approved it a year ago, but then we haven't had an application really.
yeah, I think it would have been good for them to go through this. You know, future applicants to just double check, because it does give you a quick look to the things. You know, the local building one, you know.
Yeah, especially if
I
it's
mean,
not like,
these are things that, I mean, I don't wanna, like. It doesn't affect that, because what they did is pretty good, and I don't know. That one.
and I bet Dario went through the guidelines, cause he was on our board, probably, when
Right.
we were going through this
And
stuff.
and this was, I think when I was doing this, we had come up with some that we didn't even realize were in different districts that should be guidelines everywhere, but.
I think if we all could go through this one, we'll email this one copy to everybody, so we all have the same one. And then we have to decide, is this the final that we're gonna use going forward?
It's gonna be hard with them. It's, I mean, I'm pretty sure, that's something.
I can double check and so we share the same file folders.
Okay.
So I can see if she had a
Yeah, I know.
version later than me. And I may have as well, because I know I was doing updates to this, so.
Yeah, we both did fire station with just a mock-up of what it would be like. And so I think that would have incorporated any of these notes.
Yeah.
So. We can look
Yeah,
at
I'll
that.
double check.
Alright, so I guess the goal for next month is to make sure we're at the latest version. We'll read through it, make sure it makes sense, so if we get applications coming forward, we can start using it.
Yeah,
Well, I'd like to be able to do that too. 18 months is an awful long time to go back and forth, and I think Mark's done an enormous
And
amount.
once we approve it too, we can put it online, so then we know this is the final version, it's on the design
Yeah.
review website.
or mostly final, I mean, there's nothing to say that people can't point out the mistakes, I mean. of
Yeah.
course.
Well, people could point out, like Darius, like, oh, you're missing this bylaw, maybe we need to add bylaws or change
Right, no,
bylaws.
that's why I was saying, counting up their parking requirements for a restaurant. Well, they show like 7 outdoor tables along the perimeter of the building. And it's like, if you count those seats, they're in trouble. But I don't know how big their kitchen's gonna be. And. Yeah, you know, they've got basically only room for half a dozen tables. Kitchen,
Yeah, and it's based on how many tables.
yeah,
And if they have a bar, I
right.
don't know if they're gonna have
Exactly, yeah, it's.
a bar seating.
It's
so we have to
basically
incorporate
one
that.
parking space for every 4 seats or 3 seats if you count as a park. Which it makes it pretty small, but if it's a group pub, they're pretty small usually. And Texas barbecue, where they have 6 seats or 6 tables, something like that. It was fun.
What do you think about the valet offsite parking?
Well,
Do you think we
that's
need a
gotta be-
bylaw?
Yeah, it sounds like
That's
they've got
something
that.
we can look at with the next town meeting.
We've got the
That's getting in the
shared
box.
parking options.
Know how much turnaround time they're gonna give us, so I CC'd you on the email, Stephanie was asking for zoning bylaw change for White Cliffs. So I figured we'd talk about that at the next planning board meeting. But of course, if there are articles, we have to hold a public hearing, they haven't even scheduled the town meeting yet. So something happened this week, I'm aware of.
You know, we lost our inside person, select board, so.
Yeah,
I thought they were thinking of October though at that.
that was what Stephanie had said at the last staff meeting.
Okay, but we should get, like, I mean, Mark had the housekeeping bylaws, so I should bring those to the next planning board meeting too. Because that could be something simple that can go in a fall town
That should
meeting,
be super simple.
yeah.
And we could do the valet, I could research it out.
Well, the valet, outdoor seating, you know, things that we can anticipate that this place is going to need to be successful.
Yeah, or any other downtown
Yeah,
business.
yeah.
Well,
Okay, I don't,
Nice, it's a nice front runner for other people to see what can be done. And to be
Right.
creative and to care about how. it
Right. It's like a model. Model that the other people coming in can emulate. Alright, so go through the checklist. And then the next, we had design review guidelines, scorecard rubric. And then Mark had the parking. Which was gonna become part of the design guidelines. And I think you had emails back and forth with Lori.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
went through it, fixed a bunch of, caps and stuff like that. I think she found a mistake I made, but.
So that's why it's always good to have a set of eyes look at it, because it's hard to critique your own work.
Yes, exactly, you don't even see it now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I intended not to make any changes to it, just formatting the different rules of the table. So,
And the capitalization, I was just trying to make it consistent from start
yeah, that's
to
fine.
finish.
You don't like the word throws, that's okay.
Well, GFA is a standard that people recognize, who's in this realm, so Bob, Rose Floor area GFA.
Mhm.
So it's regularly recognized by folks in the developing community.
Because some trivia, it's final episode of MASH. Goodbye, farewell.
Okay, and then. Did you check it against the book too? Like, I didn't even check.
I checked it against.
Oh, okay, is that
And
something
the
that-
links are all there, so if you've got a question on it, just click on the link, and if it's not exactly the same.
No, I just think it's good that someone double checks it because typos can happen and I didn't wanna have to go back and check
Yeah.
it, so. If
Well,
Lori
hopefully
checked
the-
it, then you checked it, then we're all set.
You know, I did notice the kind of one error in the zoning bylaw itself. And that was the commercial parking, so it had the Nano Brewery, Brew Pub. And microbrewery in commercial, and then it also had industrial.
Yeah.
So I got rid of it from industrial, left it open.
Does that require by law
Okay.
changes?
Right, is it, how is it in the bylaw, do we have to change it? All the town meeting?
Oh, I think we can address a lot of these little silly stuff with the recodification.
Well, you've got a list of the things that I had flagged that needed minor, spell changes, word changes, like bowling alley, bowling lane.
Yeah.
That type of stuff, so just add it to that list, and
Right.
that has to be talked about at your planning board meeting, anyway.
Right,
That's beyond.
I'll put you that for our next meeting. Just put together a list.
I mean, maybe we do it as a single article to fix like Scrivener's errors. Cause I'm just thinking, what if we have another 4-night town meeting, you're gonna be really irritated to be on the 4th night to fix Scrivener's
Depends
errors.
on what it is,
I think if it's fall White Cliffs, it's all one thing.
yeah,
I think they're trying to work to maybe doing something with the zoning on the fall meeting, aren't they?
Yeah.
We don't
So
have that.
Right,
same
you're like
problem?
step into the fall town meetings by
That's true.
piggybacking on them and then.
well, that's the killer in the spring meeting, that when you go through the days of controversial stuff, then you get the tedious stuff.
One of the things I wanted to do too, and I have to circle back to it, is we had a discussion, maybe not here at design review, but Bob, Lori and I had talked about the storage container units and all the closed bins. Like I even noticed in Millbury, there's bylaws for, how many or what type of donation bins. Cause if we line our whole main street with donation bins, then it's not gonna add to the
You're right.
yeah, we had talked about, and I'll have to go back and maybe that can be on fall town meeting too.
Should the donation bins be governed by the health department?
Yes, that's what most towns do. So in Millbury,
A
they
lot of
have
times it
health
just, they
bylaws.
just pick out trash and it's people just dumping stuff.
Oh, wow.
And then, there's a bag of shoes, which is fine, and then there's a bag of whatever, health department.
If it gets rained on, it's ruined, and
I
Yeah,
found a bunch of towns though where it was in the zoning bylaws or the general bylaws. But I'll have to go back, I didn't think about it for today.
If it's in the zoning bylaws, then the existing bins would be grandfathered.
Right,
So it
I don't think
shouldn't.
any-
right,
bylaw.
it should be, gotcha.
I don't think we ever addressed them before.
No, and if you go to the health bylaws, I don't know if the health department needs to go to the select board or vote, they can just go wherever they want, I think.
I would think that they would need to hold the public hearing and then it would be like the planning board
Well, they have it.
rules and regs, just adopt it.
So we can look into that.
Hmm.
How other towns, I know I started that. It was
I'm
like
sure
in
the
March.
health agent, health director would know.
With the, you know,
Oh, it's not easier there.
you ask the question, say what towns do what, and then.
Yeah, I think they should,
Trustee?
they should have to have permits as well as anything else, don't you?
Huh?
I should think they'd have to have permits as well as anyone else, don't you? You have a permit to be able to place it someplace?
I'll have to go back and look. I did find a whole bunch of bylaws for examples. I can't remember now off the top of my head.
It's
In
usually
Millbury,
charity,
it became a permit that the board of health granted.
Because I do know that the schools get money, and that's what they get X amount of dollars for letting them have the donation boxes on their property.
Yeah.
So, but who's getting the money from Blake Street? Or who's getting money from wherever else it might be at a gas station or something?
Card one down for the town, is that at the library? Was that
Cardboard drop off?
Yeah, that was on Lake Street at one point, 20 years ago. And followed it since,
Is it down at the DPW facility?
it would make sense, but I don't. It is. on-
Probably not with the fence.
I thought it was at the library now.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay. All right, does anybody else have anything they wanna add to so now the parking that we just talked about, that will be added to the design review guidelines at the end?
Yeah, I'd like to change the format instead of having to be legal, have it be the 11 by 8.5 by 11, so it fits in the book.
Yeah,
Yep, so,
that's like, yeah,
That's something.
okay.
yeah, Michael, landscape or whatever the other one is. Cause this one right now prints good in either direction.
And maybe add a header there
Yeah.
that just says, bylaw reference, what the various categories mean.
So it's. Whoever ends up doing the formatting on
Abby.
it.
Abby's doing
Abby,
it.
okay,
Abby's in while Michelle is out.
okay, and what software do you use for this type of thing?
What was that?
What type of software would you use for publications?
I've been using Publisher,
Okay,
but
oh, isn't that going away though?
I have no idea. I started using it for the first time days ago.
Cause Publisher is Microsoft, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, cause I have Office 365. And the last update said this is the last time Publisher is going to be available. So I thought they would just continue.
Well, I can certainly move it elsewhere.
Yeah, it could be just with that package that I had too, which is cheaper.
Well, this could also be a separate document in Excel that we just kind of
Yeah.
merge, we make it a PDF and merge it in with the.
Is it Excel now?
I believe
The-
it's
the
Excel.
Checklist is Excel, but I don't remember what the parking was.
I'll have to-
Yeah, it's
Okay.
probably Excel.
Okay. All right, so hopefully in the fall we'll get finalized, the design review guidelines, the scorecard, rubric, check sheet, and the parking will be added, so I think we're all set. Is there anything else along those lines that we needed to talk about or finalize? Any other outstanding documents?
Yeah, if there's something else you want me to look at, I mean, I don't mind doing different things, I think parking and checklist for. The goals I came up with, so. We can't do anything else, so.
Okay, I'm gonna focus on, and you did the bylaws, so I'm gonna focus on prepping those bylaws for the planning board meeting.
At one time we were talking about that during landscaping. I mean,
Oh, so what type of trees are the best trees for street trees? And was it Franklin that had a really good?
yeah, a couple of communities that are referenced.
We just need a list, so when, cause like Dave isn't attending our meetings anymore, So if we have an applicant that comes in that isn't as prepared as they are, we can say, these are the great street trees or these are the non-invasive plants.
That is a new disease.
Well, it also changes based on location, the soil conditions.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
you know,
I
flexibility.
see a lot of towns that have their stuff dying. Really yards, work my yard.
Yeah.
Trees I don't want, it's dying.
So who do we have to do that list, like,
That's something that Abby and I can work on together.
They're still available, right?
yeah, he's in the airport, he's coming back to Northborough today, so. We could pin him down if we get the list and say, can you review this?
Yeah.
Or even Tower Hill, they can review.
Yeah, that's good.
Okay, that sounds good, so the next thing on the agenda are the meeting minutes. Did everybody have a chance to look over the April ones? Those went back pretty far,
April 10th.
April 10th.
Yeah.
I didn't have any changes.
That's the one I wanted to make a little note change, not a lot. We could probably do it right here and then accept it as it's amended.
Okay, I'm just gonna try to pull it up. Yep, Lori sent it out.
Yes.
And I'll open it, nobody else will be able to see it, but. Do you have them printed out, Lori, in front of you, so if she has okay,
It's on page 3. Oh, page 3 of, let's see, which date was this?
April 10th, so.
Oh, wait a second. I retract that. That was June 16th that I was looking at. All right.
Oh.
Sorry.
right, cause I had made changes that we talked about, so if you wanna go through June 16th first, we could. Make the changes.
Well, have you already made your changes to April 10th?
No, I have no changes for April 10th.
Okay.
Did you?
That's
Have
fine.
a chance to read them?
Yeah, no, I'm looking at the 10th now and it looks good. I actually have a follow-up question and saying, whatever happened to the 276 West Main Street lights? Did we find out what to do about reducing some of the signage and the lighting? I would think that that has something to do with the night sky too, but
Yeah, I'm on 10th.
April 10th, is that when?
What page are you on?
on page 2, lowest
Yeah.
paragraph, we're talking April 10th.
Yep. Oh, Miss Maselli, the last paragraph,
Right.
bright
Last
light.
Mr.
Have you
Fenwick.
been by it lately? Is it still bright at night?
Oh, nothing's changed. What did you find out, Bob, when you went in? Did you talk to anybody that had
I
any
Gone in
information?
there.
Sorry?
Have not gone in there yet.
So, okay,
What?
so,
Okay.
see, this is a problem, is that there's so many things we bring up and then there's no resolution. So I wonder sometimes why we waste the time to do this. That was April.
Can't see it from there. We did address most of the other stuff process. Go around and all that, so.
But
Yeah,
the
we
minutes are good. I'm happy with what is
Oh.
here or whatever Amy's got.
Person who goes across the street, if they file it, like. But I don't think there are any residences in that area.
Maybe on the apartments.
Are there apartments of them where all of the place used to be?
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so you could send that in an email later. Do you have to follow up on it, but do you have any other changes?
Nope,
To the minute.
I'm fine with April 10th meeting.
Are you fine with that, Mark?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay, I have to do a roll call vote since we have one person on Zoom, so. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from April 10th, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Okay, roll call vote, Lisa Maselli,
Aye.
Mark McMenamy,
Yes.
and I'm an aye, so April 10th minutes have been approved. Okay, next on the agenda is the June 16th minutes. I had made some changes last month.
And then we discussed, I think on the second paragraph of under number 5 on page 2. So I have some notes here.
Okay,
My notes say to split up in front into 2 separate words. And then the sentence would read, the committee discussed changing the parking to include some spaces in front versus in front of buildings versus parking only, so we added only on the side and the rear of buildings. And then there was on the last sentence, the committee discussed how the front setback should be more than 6 feet, as that is not enough room for sidewalk and street trees. And then on the paragraph under housekeeping changes, we discussed removing scriveners, but ultimately decided to leave it in.
right,
So that's all I have.
but you have my red changes to like number 5,
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had all those.
okay. And then Lisa, I think you were gonna have some changes possibly to
Yes.
June.
And again, it's not a lot. It's only on page 3. Do you need
Yeah.
it? Can I speak them and we write them in and accept them, or how do you want to do that?
Yeah, you can definitely speak and we'll write them in.
Okay. So originally it just said, it's for 154 West, Miss Maselli questioned the condition of this building. It appears there's a hole in the roof. It appears that there's a hole in the roof stricken, and put the roof on the eastbound side has collapsed and a ladder is against the side of the building.
So it appears that the roof on the eastbound side,
Of the building has collapsed.
Mhm.
And a ladder is on the side of the building.
Yeah, that's the one Bob was gonna look at For the
Correct.
health, jurisdiction.
Board of Health has no jurisdiction.
So I was wondering, does the fire department, does the chief, I mean, cause I don't know, all towns are different, but I noticed in Berlin, the fire chief just condemned the building,
He has no authority to.
the small town.
So at this point, I want to finish that paragraph just to be done with it. It says,
Sure.
Mr. Federico indicated that he would look into the matter. The actual thing he had said was, he's aware, he was aware. So it says, it should say, Mr. Federico indicated that he was aware. And that'll take care of that sentence.
Okay.
But, leaving it as it is and not doing anything for it, there's no insurance on the building because no insurance carrier will cover the building. And I'm more and more concerned about who gets the liability if somebody there from the public gets hurt.
Town has no responsibility for that.
How do we know that how could you if I'm a landlord, I have to take care of the people who rent my space.
So if it's a landlord situation, it's Board of Health.
So it's a landlord situation over there because it's owned by a trust. It's not owned by the person
He
who's
is
doing
the
the work.
trust.
Say that again?
He is the trust.
He's not the trust. His uncle is the trust.
He is still responsible for the property. Okay, the town has no bearing on that building in terms of if somebody goes in there and gets hurt. It's completely on the property owner.
So if you have a building that's falling down, there's no responsibility on the main street. There's no responsibility for the town to create a safer environment for anybody around the area.
The only thing I can do is order them to make safe or to demolish the building. All right, and I will be looking into it. And as I've said before, don't give me that look.
I'll give you that look.
I don't need that. Okay, I have a lot of things on my plate. I'm aware of the situation. I will look into it.
4
We need to
months.
have some patience. I'm done. Thank you.
Okay, do you have any other additional questions?
This is not design review issues that keep raising. And I won't have that discussion.
Do you have any other changes to the minutes?
Let me see. Yes, on 291 Main Street.
Yeah.
Mr. Sully questioned the signage at Diamond Cafe. Mr. Federico indicated that he will be working with them regarding signage. Next sentence, he explained that the sign is a pre-existing non-conforming. And then a permit for diamond signage was not pulled. I
Yeah,
just strike the sentence that said he explained that the sign is pre-existing and non-conforming.
okay.
But is that actually what he said?
Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
This
He said he
is
was,
the minutes.
Well,
he was gonna look into
it was a
whether there was a
pre-existing
structure.
sign that they changed the wording on, so it's a little gray.
Yeah, but this is a record of what was said.
We can continue it again and go back and exact, but I remember when we discussed it, Bob said he was gonna look into it, cause he has to look if it's the signs that's pre-existing and non-conforming or the structure.
Yeah, and
So-
I believe it's the structure and putting it in the way it was. There's a lot of stuff we say that doesn't go in the minutes. But putting this in the minutes gives it validity.
Right on the street, it's been there forever.
It's already down, he took
Yeah,
it,
yeah,
they took
he-
it
he
down,
took
Take
care-
it down.
Yeah, he took care of the situation.
So,
because I don't think it was, I don't think a sign can be pre-existing and non-conforming. Because when you put up a new sign, if it's a new company, and you change the words, then they have to follow bylaws.
That's what he means by the structural street.
Right,
The two posts and the plywood itself.
right.
I don't think he said the sign is pre-existing and non-conforming, there was a discussion about the structure.
So shall we?
The structure of the sign.
The sign structure.
I would
Should
just,
add
or
structure?
just, or maybe it's better just to cross it out, like Lisa said, then we don't have our incorrect statement.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just easier not to have it in there and,
I mean, he can come back and, but it doesn't matter, the sign's gone now, so it's not gonna make a break
Right,
anyway.
right.
you're
So
just changing it.
AI scans the actual minutes and not the transcripts for now. Eventually, I think it'll scan the
Okay.
transcripts.
So are those all the changes?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the June 16, 2025 minutes as amended?
So
I second?
Okay, roll call vote, Lisa Maselli,
Yes.
Mark McMenamy,
yes.
Amy Perez is an aye, so those minutes are approved.
Did you say that?
June 16, 2025, at least I think I did. You could have. So the next on the agenda is July 10th, 2025. And I did not have any changes to those minutes. Anybody else?
Fine.
You're fine with them?
One thing I would have.
Well, say it if you want to. This is your moment. You walk out the door and say, I knew I should have said it, because it's on my mind.
Well, no, I mean, it's not really a design thing.
Oh.
Downtown. Thing, so it's kind of outside the scope anyway.
Okay, so it has nothing to do with change in the minutes? If it does, if it's something that you said,
Well, I just,
Come on, Mark, I'm really specific. You can be too.
well, no, I know you agree with me, that's the only reason I was going, now, forget it.
why?
Alright, what else?
Okay, well, that's it, you have no changes?
No changes.
Okay, so I have a motion to approve the minutes for the July 10th, 2025 meeting.
So moved.
Second,
Okay, roll call vote, Mark McManamy,
Yes.
Lisa Maselli,
yes,
Jim and I. So the 3 sets of minutes are approved. We meet again on September 11th. Is there anything else that's comes before the board today?
I have a question.
Sure.
I know I've been watching I know the White Cliffs is an issue, I know the board of selectmen, or select board has stated that they want design review involved in that. I think it's a little bit different scope where you're dealing with a historical building that would also involve preservation institutes and stuff like that. I think our involvement might have to come a little sooner. But I'm not sure, just something I put out there. I mean, we might even want to bring in, temporary members that have more expertise in this area. Talk about that or.
I did meet with the gentleman who's kind of spearheading for the for John, I don't remember his last name. The folks, the guy who owns the Elegant Banquets.
Good point.
And thank you, Bryce. And I did tell him that I thought you folks would want to see their plan sooner versus later, so he is aware. And does know that.
So we also have other stuff that has been done by other groups that we could share with them and give them, for reference, so.
Now, will they come before town meeting or not till after all this goes through town meeting?
They said that they are planning on doing some work for town meeting, so they wanted to have some drawings to show at town meeting. So that is their intent to start investing some design money now. So that they're prepared, so. As to when they're gonna file, he didn't know.
Yeah, I know, Tom called into the meeting and had some issues with their design for the ballroom. I've got some background on that too. I know another group that had temporarily done something very similar with a different ballroom, but what was approvable and what wasn't, and Tom does have a valid point, but they're minor things that caught early, just do it in the design stages, so we'd like to get that information to them. Not to say it's right or something they want to use anyway. They do a much bigger ballroom, group bus, so.
So did you want Tom to come? I don't know who Tom is, but we can,
Tom Cohen was the one that called.
okay,
So no, he brought up the concern, it was a valid concern, he didn't have a solution for it though. So I know Jim and those guys that had done the other thing,
yeah,
had worked with a woman named Liz Warburg, who works with the state, if they were out of Rhode Island, so, about what was acceptable and wasn't acceptable for that style of art.
Are you talking about the Metro West proposal?
No, this is the Preservation Society, never got presented, so. This was the one that we tried to get on the agenda with the select board 2 or 3 years ago. It couldn't get onto the agenda.
well,
Yes.
the first thing that has to happen is that the restriction, the deed restriction has to be developed. And again, when it was purchased, it was to preserve the land and the building thereon. It wasn't to buy it so that we could then lease it or sell it to a commercial concern. That wasn't what was done. So when that clicked in and it went to town meeting and people did vote for it to preserve it, they were supposed to put the restriction on immediately. Of course, it hasn't been done for 10 years. It's up to the town to decide what they want for the restriction, not the person who leases it. So that's a big concern. And the other question is how, you know, what the agreement's going to be, which has not been completed, other than the newspaper seems to think so, but nothing is set in stone yet. So I think that it's important that we have that discussion. I don't know that we have it, somebody has to have it. But what part of the land is not going to be built on, what, you know, what is going to be kept, and how much the area that they could rebuild something, and whether or not it's a purchase or a lease. Those are two big differences that are going to have to be ironed out.
And they did state, they talked at the second meeting, that they wanted to reuse the kitchen addition. I've never heard that before because that's fallen down. You know, the older guy, the.
Yeah, it seemed like he went in a circle though, he said he was gonna use it, and then he's like,
Right,
maybe
right,
not.
so that's just something should get clarified, just before they raise it.
Yeah, I mean, they're working right now on hiring their design team. So as far as I know, they have not hired an architect yet. So they're looking into that.
And
And-
who's there?
They should look at
But
that.
the town administrator had requested administration funds from the community preservation committee. To hire an expert to work through the particulars of the preservation restriction. So I believe that Stephanie has already selected somebody to do that. But that is a conversation with the lessee. So, you know,
Yeah.
obviously if they wanna keep the kitchen, then that would not, it's not a historic aspect of the building anyway,
But
so
it
it
faces
probably
the
would be
street.
covered.
It faces the street, so that was always the problem.
They keep the kitchen, they can't get the historic nature of the building. That was one of the things that had to come off.
They do not plan on pursuing listing. As far
Well,
as
it's up to the town, I don't think. I don't think it's up to them whether or not they plan. on it.
Actually,
Our responsibility.
so the preservation restriction would be approved at town meeting. But the listing is not something they're interested in because it's gonna take too long to secure approval. And so probably they'd walk away if that's a requirement.
Well, we still haven't gotten an affirmative at town meeting for them to do this. So there's an awful lot of work that's going into something that could be just like Blake Street. So
Yeah,
I
because
think
that,
that they,
I just wanna, quickly, I just wanna close this meeting, and then, you know, we could talk about it offline, it's not a design review thing.
well, if the select board is saying we're gonna be involved, then, you know, maybe it is, I don't know, trying to figure out the scope of our
The
involvement.
preservation restriction is not design review.
I don't agree with that.
Okay, but then we're
It's got
supposed to,
CPA in it.
right, so you wanna know when they're gonna come in front of us.
And I don't know that.
Right, yeah.
As of last week, they did not yet.
Okay.
I just don't wanna go into too much detail, cause it's out of our realm for this open public meeting.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, it's fine, I just, we need to establish our scope realm.
And it's just the exterior of the building. That is the scope. So it's the exterior of the building and the site work, but it has nothing to do with whether the kitchen is on there or not on there. You're
Well,
only
that's the
approving
exterior.
the exterior facade. So if they incorporate that into the addition, then I mean,
Well, it's building, landscaping, lighting,
parking.
yeah, everything on that.
Well, yes, I
Design.
just don't know why they would have stated that if it was regular routine,
Stated what?
that they wanted the design review involved.
Well, it's also in the zoning bylaw that design review would be involved, but
Right,
it's.
so I stated,
Okay, so with
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying is what's happening in the interior of the building is not a design review question. That's not something that you
Right.
folks have jurisdiction over.
But
So
the-
whether they keep the kitchen or not, it's not something that,
But the kitchen addition is the exterior.
it's just, you're
Yeah.
approving what it looks like, that's it. You're not approving whether they. keep
Right, I
it,
just say
they-
we've never had to do a historical building with all types of constraints like that, so. That's why I was saying, maybe bring in somebody that knows more about it. If we are going to have to,
Oh, so a historical person who would,
yeah, I don't know who's the head of that commission now.
So, I believe that the person that Stephanie's working with. Has expertise on doing preservation restrictions for historic properties. So the preservation restriction would specify. What would be preserved. So like on the exterior of the building, the siding or. Certain structural elements or whatever.
so the town and the board of selectmen would know that before it goes to town meeting.
Yes, so Stephanie is working with that individual.
Okay.
And I know that she has reached out to like the Historic District Commission about having them involved, like Norm Corbin, who is probably the most familiar with the building. And he's been super active. So she has asked for their assistance.
Mark knows a lot about it too.
It's not just the board people.
So, okay, so this historical person is just to help to write the preservation restriction, are they gonna come to our meeting?
Don't think so.
No, I mean, I was just mainly looking for clarification on what the select board wanted from us, when they brought us up.
Okay. We can ask them too. Okay, we'll get a handle on that, but we're not gonna meet in August now, so it's not until September, if they have the fall town meeting. That would mean anything to do with White Cliffs would have to be in September, and we're never against meeting more than once, so we can meet twice in September if we had to, fit White Cliffs in. Okay. Alright. Could be. Is everything clear? I mean, I'm not that.
Oh, yeah, as far as my review is concerned.
Okay, alright, so do I have a motion to end the meeting?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, roll call vote, Lisa Maselli,
Aye.
Mark McManamy,
Yes.
and I'm an aye. Okay. Meeting is not closed, how do we, I don't know how we shut it off.
We just.
Thank you